Why aren't you getting enough sleep? The mistake lies in your dinner. Picture this. You wake up in the morning, not to the insistent beeping of an alarm clock, but to a gentle, natural awakening, as if your body itself decided it was time to begin a new day, feeling refreshed, rested, clear-headed, and light in your body, as though overnight you didn't merely sleep, but conducted a thorough internal audit, repaired and rebooted all your systems, and now you're ready for any challenge, as if an invisible yet powerful battery had been installed inside you. One that doesn't drain by lunchtime, doesn't require caffeine drips, and doesn't culminate in a nervous breakdown by 6 p.m., but instead works steadily, smoothly, and with dignity, like a Swiss watch. Sounds like fiction? Like an ad for yet another miracle supplement promising eternal youth and time control? Maybe. But what if I told you this isn't fantasy, not a dream, not a hypothesis, but an entirely attainable state, one humanity is returning to after decades of chemical intervention, artificial stimulants, and disrupted biological rhythms? And the key to it lies not in a pharmacy or an expensive lab, but in your own kitchen, in simple, ancient, generation-tested foods that once nourished our ancestors and gave them the strength to build cities, create great works, survive harsh conditions, and still remain in harmony with themselves and nature. Today, we're not going to talk about diets, trendy fads, or magic pills, but about how food can become your ally in fighting chronic fatigue, insomnia, and emotional instability, the three companions of modern life that sadly have shifted from exceptions to norms for millions worldwide. And yet we persist in blaming our schedules, stress, lack of sleep, or overload, forgetting the most crucial thing. Our brain, nerves, hormones, and energy system aren't abstract concepts. They are physical structures built from amino acids, vitamins, minerals, and fatty acids. And if the building materials are missing, the structure begins to crack at the seams, even if you prop it up daily with coffee, energy drinks, and melatonin pills that merely mask symptoms instead of treating the cause. And here's the astonishing part. Nature has provided for everything. Each season brings precisely the fruits, vegetables, nuts, and grains the body needs at that time. Spring greens for post-winter detox, summer berries to replenish antioxidants, autumn pumpkins and root vegetables to support immunity and liver function, and winter's warm, fatty, nourishing foods to soothe and strengthen the nervous system. If we learn to listen to this rhythm, if we stop eating the same things year-round, ignoring seasonality and geography, and start noticing how our body responds to different foods, we'll be amazed at how quickly our energy levels, sleep quality, and even mood can shift. Because all these aren't separate illnesses, but different manifestations of the same problem: biochemical imbalance in the body. And food can indeed become the first, most natural, and most powerful tool for restoring that balance, if we choose products wisely, respectfully, and with an understanding of their inner logic. Take, for example, the banana, a simple, accessible, universally familiar fruit many regard merely as a source of calories or something for kids and athletes, rarely seeing it as a potent aid for improving sleep and stabilizing mood. Yet, it contains not only potassium, which regulates electrolyte balance and eases muscle spasms that often interfere with falling asleep, but also tryptophan, an amino acid that serves as the precursor to serotonin and melatonin, the very hormones responsible for calmness and for initiating the nighttime cycle. If you eat a banana 2 hours before bed, along with a small amount of nuts or sesame seeds, rich in magnesium, which relaxes the nervous system and lowers cortisol levels, the effect won't just be noticeable, but tangible. You'll feel tension release from your shoulders, your racing thoughts settle, your breathing deepen and steady, and sleep will arrive not as a plunge into an abyss of exhaustion, but as a soft, natural transition into another state. This isn't magic, it's straightforward biochemistry, and you can become the director of this process yourself if you know which actors play roles in the production called nighttime rest. Now consider this. Why do so many of us feel heaviness, puffiness, and irritability after dinner, yet remain convinced we'll drift off peacefully, only to toss and turn for half an hour, or even longer, staring at the ceiling while mentally replaying all unfinished tasks without suspecting that the culprit might be dinner itself? The combination of foods, their cooking method, and how hard the body must work to digest what you've given it all matter. For deep, restorative sleep, the body must be free of digestive burden, not forced into a night shift of processing fatty meats, fried carbs, or complex protein shakes. Because during sleep, the brain's glymphatic cleansing system activates, a unique process where toxins and metabolites accumulated during the day, including beta amyloid linked to Alzheimer's disease, are literally flushed from the intercellular spaces. But this only happens if the brain is truly resting, not managing digestion. If you want your brain to feel as fresh as morning dew, start by giving it a chance to work for itself, not for your stomach. And this doesn't mean fasting. On the contrary, it means eating intelligently, in a way that supports rather than suppresses preparation for night. One of the most effective options here is warm oatmeal, made with water or almond milk, seasoned with a pinch of cinnamon, a pinch of nutmeg, and a couple of spoonfuls of tahini, a sesame paste rich in calcium and zinc, which participate in synthesizing gamma-aminobutyric acid, the primary inhibitory neurotransmitter essential for deep sleep. Cinnamon, by the way, deserves special attention, not just as a fragrant spice, but as a potent regulator of blood glucose levels, which is critical for maintaining stable daytime energy and peaceful nighttime rest. Sharp sugar spikes aren't just about hunger or sugar cravings. They directly signal the adrenal glands to release adrenaline and noradrenaline, even while you're lying in bed. And this is one of the main reasons for nighttime awakenings around 2 or 3 a.m. It's not anxiety, nightmares, or an uncomfortable pillow. It's often just a sudden glucose drop caused by an overly sweet dinner or one lacking fats and proteins. Adding cinnamon to your morning porridge, yogurt, or smoothies, even just a quarter teaspoon, can make your transitions between meals smoother, reduce snacking, extend satiety, and calm your mornings. Because the typical cortisol surge that for many turns into panic-like awakening with heart palpitations and nausea is softened when the body isn't stressed by energy shortages. This isn't speculation, it's confirmed by dozens of studies, including one conducted at the University of Pennsylvania, where volunteers who received cinnamon over 4 weeks showed significant improvements in insulin sensitivity and reduced levels of glycated hemoglobin, a marker of long-term blood sugar control. But let's move on to an even more remarkable food, nearly forgotten today, but once a staple in Scandinavia, the Caucasus, Tibet, and parts of Africa, millet, or as some call it, buckwheat, though they're botanically distinct. What matters isn't the name, but its unique composition. Millet is one of the few grains naturally gluten-free, yet rich in magnesium, phosphorus, and B vitamins, especially B1 and B6. And crucially, it contains enzymes that help break down phytic acid, which often inhibits mineral absorption in other grains. This makes millet an exceptionally bioavailable food, especially for people with sensitive guts or signs of chronic fatigue, since magnesium, as we've said, is the key to relaxation, and vitamin B6 acts as a coenzyme in synthesizing serotonin, dopamine, and gamma-aminobutyric acid. If you cook millet in water with carrots, pumpkin, and a small amount of ghee, clarified butter, it not only becomes delicious, but transforms into genuine therapeutic food, safe to eat in the evening without disrupting sleep, while actively supporting the nervous system, liver, and adrenals, the three organs most vulnerable to chronic stress and sleep deprivation. Interestingly, in Tibetan medicine, millet is considered a warming grain, suitable for people with a Vata constitution, prone to coldness, anxiety, and insomnia. Indeed, if you're chilled, exhausted, and feel an inner shakiness, warm millet porridge with honey and ground almonds can replace more than one dose of sedatives without leaving that foggy head or heaviness common after medications. Now let's talk about fish. Not just any fish, but wild-caught salmon, mackerel, sardines, and herring. Those that swim in cold, northern waters and accumulate omega-3 fatty acids in their fat, especially eicosapentalenaic acid and docosahexalenaic acid, without which normal brain function, inflammation resistance, and, importantly, circadian rhythm regulation are impossible. Docosahexalenaic acid integrates into the cell membranes of the hypothalamus, the very center housing the body's master biological clock, the suprachiasmatic nucleus. If these membranes lack omega-3s, they become less fluid, signal transmission slows, and rhythms falter. You start dozing off at odd times, waking too early, feeling drained even after 8 hours in bed. Research from the University of Oxford showed that adolescents with low blood levels of omega-3s slept on average 1 hour less than peers with high levels, and more frequently suffered anxiety and mood swings. Crucially, just 16 weeks of omega-3 supplementation significantly improved not only sleep duration, but depth, including REM sleep, the phase where emotional processing and memory consolidation occur. This means quality sleep isn't merely the absence of wakefulness, but an active, complex process involving the entire body. If you want to wake up not just with open eyes, but with clarity, lightness, and inner resilience, start by incorporating fatty sea fish into your diet 2 or 3 times a week, preferably steamed or baked in foil with herbs and lemon, since frying destroys some beneficial fats and creates harmful compounds that conversely increase inflammation and fatigue. Here, a natural question arises. What if you don't eat fish? If you're a vegetarian, vegan, or simply can't stand the smell of seafood? Does that doom you to omega-3 deficiency and consequently chronic fatigue and anxiety? Absolutely not. As always, nature has provided an alternative, flax, specifically its seeds and oil, but with an important caveat. Flax seeds contain alpha-linolenic acid, a precursor to eicosapentalenaic acid and docosahexalenaic acids. Yet conversion in the body isn't always efficient, especially in people with impaired desaturase enzyme function, a common issue with zinc, magnesium, or vitamin B6 deficiency. So it's not enough to just consume flax. You must combine it with other foods that support this process, like pumpkin seeds, rich in zinc, cashews, a source of magnesium, and lentils or chickpeas for vitamin B6. In this way, even a vegetarian diet can supply sufficient omega-3s to sustain brain and nervous system health. Notably, in ancient Russian medicine, flaxseed oil was used not only for digestive health, but also for heart sorrow and mental exhaustion, terms that essentially describe modern anxiety and cognitive burnout. Taking 1 tablespoon of fresh, cold-pressed flaxseed oil on an empty stomach in the morning, followed by warm lemon water, gradually eases inner tension, sharpens thoughts, and deepens breathing, because omega-3s improve alveolar elasticity in the lungs and reduce bronchial inflammation, directly boosting blood oxygen levels, and thus cellular energy potential. But let's not forget the most crucial organ governing sleep, wakefulness, and mood, the adrenal glands. Tiny yet incredibly powerful organs sitting atop the kidneys, producing over 50 hormones, including cortisol, adrenaline, noradrenaline, aldosterone, and even small amounts of sex hormones. Their condition determines how you respond to stress, how quickly you recover from exertion, how deeply you sleep, and how clearly you think. Under chronic stress, adrenals first become hyperactive. You feel energy surges, alertness, hyperfocus, but if the strain continues, they eventually deplete, leading to so-called adrenal fatigue. You can't wake up without coffee, feel afternoon weakness, become easily irritable, catch colds frequently, and yet standard blood tests may appear normal, since conventional medicine often overlooks this state until full insufficiency sets in. Meanwhile, you can support your adrenals through food, and top contenders are foods rich in vitamin C, magnesium, and tyrosine, the amino acid precursor to dopamine and adrenaline. While we typically seek vitamin C in citrus fruits, one of its most concentrated natural sources is blackcurrant, fresh, frozen, or brewed as a leaf tea. A single handful provides nearly a full day's requirement, but it's vital to consume it with fat, say avocado or coconut flakes, since vitamin C enhances iron absorption, and iron is essential for dopamine synthesis. If any link in this chain is missing, the whole system breaks down, and both energy and mood falter. Speaking of avocado, it deserves special mention, not just as a trendy superfood, but as a true treasure trove of monounsaturated fats, potassium, vitamin E, and glutathione, one of the body's most potent antioxidants, shielding mitochondria from damage. Mitochondria are those very power plants of cells that produce adenosine triphosphate, the body's primary energy molecule. If they're damaged, energy vanishes, even with adequate caloric intake. That's why avocado makes an ideal breakfast. Half a fruit with lemon juice, a pinch of sea salt, and a soft-boiled egg delivers fats, protein, antioxidants, and electrolytes, without spiking blood sugar, as often happens with sandwiches or milk-based cereals. If you're used to sweet breakfasts, try swapping your morning yogurt and muesli for this avocado portion for just 1 week. You'll be surprised how much more stable your mood becomes, how fewer the swings between everything's fine and everything's terrible, because stable blood sugar equals stable dopamine, not waves of euphoria followed by crashes. Now let's discuss tea, not green or black, but one nearly forgotten today. Licorice root tea, known in traditional Chinese medicine as guncao, or sweet root, used for millennia to restore strength after illness, fortify the lungs, and support the adrenals. The key lies in glyceric acid, which temporarily slows cortisol breakdown in the liver, giving adrenals a breather to recover. Crucially, though, this tea should be taken in courses, 2 or 3 weeks on, then a break, and only when cortisol is low, since excess cortisol combined with licorice can worsen symptoms. Before starting, it's wise to consult a specialist, or at least observe your own state. If your blood pressure rises in the evening, ankles swell, or your face puffs, these signal cortisol excess, and licorice isn't suitable. But if you feel body aches, weakness after minor exertion, or crave salt, that may indicate deficiency, and a warm cup of licorice root infusion before bed could be a true lifesaver, especially combined with chamomile and mint, which enhance relaxation and soften potential bitterness. Another ancient beverage worth mentioning is Kvass, not the store-bought kind overloaded with sugar and preservatives, but homemade, fermented from rye bread, honey, and raisins. It contains not only lactic acid, which supports gut flora, but also B vitamins produced by bacteria during fermentation. Why does this matter? because over 90% of serotonin is synthesized not in the brain, but in the gut, specifically in enterochromaffin cells. If gut microbiota are imbalanced or pathogenic bacteria dominate, serotonin production drops, and no pill or supplement will help until you restore the environment where these cells thrive. Kvass, kefir, sauerkraut, miso, they're like fertilizer for an inner garden where happiness hormones grow. Remarkably, animal studies show that transplanting microbiota from optimistic individuals to anxious ones changes behavior. Anxious animals become calmer. This means our mood isn't only shaped by our thoughts, it's deeply influenced by what we eat and who lives inside us. Let's return to sleep and discuss a simple yet undervalued food: cranberry. Especially unsweetened cranberry morse, made by simmering berries in water and adding honey only after cooling. It's not just about vitamin C, but proanthocyanidins, compounds protecting bladder walls from infection. You might ask, how does this relate to sleep? Quite directly. A frequent cause of nighttime awakenings in women is mild chronic cystitis, often asymptomatic, yet causing discomfort and urges to urinate. Regularly drinking even small amounts of cranberry morse can prevent this, resulting in uninterrupted, more restorative sleep, especially vital for those who've undergone countless tests yet found no explanation for insomnia, since we often search for problems where they don't exist, overlooking simple physiological causes resolvable not with drugs, but with natural remedies. Now, consider another seemingly ordinary food: eggs. But not just any eggs, specifically those from free-range hens fed insects, grass, and antibiotic-free grain. These contain 3 times more omega-3s, 7 times more beta-carotene, and twice as much vitamin E as industrial eggs. And crucially, they're rich in choline, essential for synthesizing acetylcholine, a key neurotransmitter for attention, memory, and focus. Choline deficiency makes the brain lag, thoughts become fuzzy, and mental fog sets in. No amount of coffee will help, because the issue isn't alertness, but nerve signal conduction. 2 eggs daily aren't excessive, they're the minimum dose for cognitive support, especially for women in menopause, when choline is vital for dementia prevention. If you fear dietary cholesterol, set that aside. Modern science has long shown it barely affects blood levels, while choline deficiency directly impairs quality of life. Soft-boiled or poached eggs best preserve enzymes and fat-soluble vitamins, and pairing them with grated carrot and olive oil creates an ideal breakfast for steady energy and mental clarity. Here's another surprise: chocolate, but not milk, white, or filled varieties. Dark chocolate, at least 70% cocoa, preferably without soy lecithin or emulsifiers. It's not about the modest caffeine content, but flavonoids, theobromine and phenylethylamine, compounds improving cerebral blood flow, boosting dopamine, and creating gentle euphoria without spikes. 2 squares after lunch can replace coffee without triggering anxiety or palpitations, since theobromine acts more gently and longer than caffeine. Especially beneficial is pairing it with nuts, almonds or walnuts, which add magnesium and zinc, turning this into neuronutritional support for the afternoon. Intriguingly, the Aztecs revered cocoa as food of the gods, giving it to warriors before battle for endurance. Yet today, we fear it, wrongly labeling it harmful, when in truth, it's one of nature's most potent antioxidants. Choosing high-quality, organic dark chocolate makes it an ally, not an enemy. But let's not overlook the most fundamental element: water. Even the perfect diet fails if the body is dehydrated. Just 2% dehydration reduces cognitive performance by 15%, slows reaction time, worsens mood, and triggers headaches. Many people confuse thirst with hunger, especially in the evening, and eat when all they need is a glass of warm water with a pinch of sea salt. This restores electrolyte balance and aids sleep preparation, since sodium, in moderation, is essential for adrenal function and cellular hydration. If you drink plenty of water yet still feel dry mouth, fatigue, or cramps, you may lack electrolytes, not water itself. Adding a pinch of Himalayan pink salt to your morning glass stabilizes blood pressure, improves hydration, and even reduces sugar cravings, since mineral deficiency often drives the body to seek quick carbs, unaware it actually needs something entirely different. Now, consider an unusual yet effective food: seaweed, kelp, nori, dulse, spirulina, and chlorella. While spirulina and chlorella are microalgae, kelp and nori are macroalgae, all incredibly rich in iodine, tyrosine, magnesium, and B vitamins. Iodine is essential for producing thyroxine and triiodothyronine, thyroid hormones without which normal metabolism is impossible. An underactive thyroid means constant fatigue, even after sleep, cold hands and feet, hair loss, and an inability to lose weight despite diet and exercise. Yet lab results often appear normal because reference ranges are broad. You might sit in the lower third and still feel unwell. Adding even small amounts of seaweed, say a pinch of nori to soup or salad, can yield noticeable effects within 2 to 3 weeks. But caution is vital. Iodine isn't something to consume unchecked, especially with nodular goiter or autoimmune thyroiditis. Start small, 1 or 2 pinches per week, and monitor your response. If all's well, your body will reply with warmth, ease of movement, and mental clarity. Another remarkable food is beetroot, especially raw or as juice diluted with carrot or apple juice. Beets contain betaine, which shields liver cells from damage and participates in DNA methylation, a process regulating gene activity, including those governing stress and inflammation. Additionally, beets are rich in nitrates, converted in the body to nitric oxide, a powerful vasodilator improving blood flow. This is especially critical for sleep, since the brain receives 20% more blood at night than during the day. Constricted vessels prevent this, leaving sleep shallow and morning fatigue intact. Interestingly, a Bristol University study found that people drinking beet juice before bed saw a 40% rise in blood nitric oxide levels and a 50% reduction in nighttime awakenings, all achieved with a single vegetable growing in our soil, often boiled for borscht, while its extraordinary power goes unnoticed. Let's return to the core question: why are we so exhausted? Perhaps the answer lies not only in food, but in rhythm. Modern life traps us in endless cycles of waiting, rushing, and the brain never shifts from fight or flight to rest and recovery. Here, rituals, not just foods, help. An evening tea isn't merely a drink, but a transition moment. Sitting, holding a warm cup, inhaling the aroma, taking a deep breath, signaling the body it's okay to stop. Reinforce this with the right food, say warm pumpkin soup with turmeric and coconut milk, or an oat pancake with tahini and banana, and you create ideal conditions for melatonin production. The brain receives 2 signals: physical from food and behavioral from ritual, a combination more powerful than any pill because it's not forced intervention but support for natural processes. This is the essence of natural medicine, not fighting symptoms, but creating conditions for self-healing. Once you grasp this, food ceases to be mere calories. It becomes a language of communication with your body, and every spoonful, every bite is no longer habit, but a choice. What state do you wish to inhabit tomorrow, next week, next year? Finally, know this: you don't have to change everything at once. There's no need to empty your fridge or become a perfect eater overnight. Real change isn't revolution, it's evolution. Small, conscious steps repeated until they become second nature. Start with just one. Choose a single food we've discussed today. Perhaps a banana with almonds before bed, a cup of kvass at noon, avocado for breakfast, or chamomile mint tea in the evening. Try it for 3 days straight and observe, not your weight or lab results, but yourself, how you feel upon waking, how your day unfolds, how you drift off and awaken. If you notice even the slightest improvement, keep going. This is your path to energy, calm, and inner resilience. It doesn't lie in a pharmacy, it lies in the earth, rivers, gardens, and forests, in nature, which created us and knows precisely what we need. All that remains is to remember how to listen to its voice and trust it. For in that trust lies the key to everything else. And if you've read this far, you're already on your way. I truly believe each of you can reclaim lightness, clarity, and joy in life, starting small, with one bowl, one drink, one conscious choice. As these choices multiply, you'll be amazed at how profoundly your life can transform, until you realize, quite suddenly, that energy, sleep, and mood aren't things to buy or earn, but treasures already within you, simply waiting for the chance to emerge. And that is the most beautiful, most natural form of healing, available to anyone willing to listen.